Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
I don't think that the paint being thrown on Sandy was the issue. It was the way her team reacted. Her team caused her to be mentally like. I know Kay. He's a calm person, and the fact that he ran into her dressing room all worked up, screaming at her to pull out of the fight, almost as if his plan didn't work.
Mikaela Mayer has been trying to pawn off the blame for the paint incident on a member of Sandy's team, and I don't see why a member of Sandy's team would go to those lengths.
It's not really a practical explanation, but it's the only one she has at a time where everybody is looking at her.
Because Sandy wasn't going to pull out of the fight. Props to her. She's a fighter. She went in there and she did what she had to do. And that's what you got to do as a fighter. But the fact that her team was making a big deal about it, trying to convince her to pull out of the fight, that fucks with you more than...
She's downplaying the paint incident, which harkens back to the Billy Joe Saunders Deontay Wilder chicken incident back in 2018 when Deontay Wilder was in the United Kingdom and Billy Joe Saunders took it upon himself to hurl chicken at him, a half a chicken.
I don't imagine Deontay Wilder liked that all that much, and I know his fans didn't. It was like a national incident here in the United States, that somebody would do that to an American fighter while they were abroad. So when a UK fighter comes to America,
somebody decides to throw paint at them right before a fight.
It is egregious. It is appalling. It is uncalled for.
Get a little paint thrown on your leg. So if I were her, I'd look inside her own team. That's just super suspicious to me.
Okay, and you're referring to her head coach, Kate Karoma, who obviously you have a long history with, who then, decided to train Sandy, and now she trains with him. What is your response to that, Sandy? Is there any credence to what Mikaela is saying there?
No, look, everyone reacts different. It was at the time, everyone's emotions were all up in the air. Mine was up in the air, for God's sake. But everyone reacts different. I reacted different. It showed in the fight. But look, I have full trust in my team. That's why I'm back out here training. So.
Right, and out here is Las Vegas. Can I ask you, who do you think did it? Who was responsible for this, Sandy?
Mikaela.
Look, I don't know, but there's obviously a lot that went on more than just the paint. So I have thoughts, and I just let people think who they think it is. But you know what? The paint incident, I couldn't care less anymore. The rematch is on, so I'm happy. I don't even think about the paint. I let people have talked it up that much. I just let them carry on talking about it. But me, I don't care what happened in the past. The past is the past.
But you've been bringing it up too, though. You've been dragging it out and bringing it up too. So you do care. You've been pointing the finger at me and my team.
Before the rematch got signed, of course, to try and make the fight, because people are talking about it, of course. But me personally, I don't even dwell on it anymore, because the past is the past. We can't change the past.
This was a targeted attack, and that's obvious, and I've gone over why a million times. For those who might have missed it, well, who else would have known when Sandy Ryan would have been leaving her hotel room to make her way to the Garden? Who would have known what hotel she was staying at and when she would be leaving, if not somebody in the loop, if not somebody in the know? Perhaps someone on Mikaela Mayer's side of it. Perhaps not Mikaela herself, but a friend, an acquaintance, someone
on her behalf.
Don't forget that Mikaela Mayer had an axe to grind with Sandy Ryan going in. This wasn't business as usual, a contender challenging a champion. No, there was more to it than that before things came to a head. Pay attention.
You're the one who came into my country, tried to train with my team. You even sent me a letter saying, I'm so sorry that I know I'm coming into your territory. I never spoke to you about it. Like, you made the wrong move. I would never go into a girl in my weight class's camp and expect to train with her and her team.
This wasn't just business as usual for Mikaela. This was personal. And what was the paint attack, if not personal?
So you know what you did. You just don't like me because I'm calling you out on your bullshit. Everything I'm saying is factual. I'm not even talking shit. I'm just speaking facts.
Okay, no, I just don't like the way you are as a person. It's not anything to do with teams and trainers.
Huh? What? Huh?
It's not all about trainers and teams and all that. I just don't like you as a person.
But we were
Like,
cool all the way up until this situation. I have your nice messages. We spoke on the phone.
The way it looks, Sandy Ryan crossed the line, co-opting a member of Michaela's team, and Michaela crossed it even further, clandestinely. That's my take.
And I told you how this was not cool with me. It was a major conflict of interest. And you didn't care. You did what you had to do. So just stick by that. But don't turn it around like I'm the bad person. I'm the one who had to walk away and find a whole new team.
I didn't say you was a bad person. I just said I don't.
You just said you don't like me as a person.
What? Exactly. I didn't say you were a bad person. I just said I don't like you as a person. Like, it's not that I just don't like you as a person.
So when things are this personal between two professional athletes, one who feels that the other co-opted a member of her team, suddenly dousing her with paint ahead of a fight won't seem as bad compared to what they did to you, because what they did to you affected your training regimen. You had to find a whole new team.
Replace a member of it, whereas the most Sandy had to replace was her leggings ahead of the fight.
Michaela did it, and it's very obvious. The NYPD hasn't made much in terms of headway as to pinning down who exactly threw the paint, but you don't need to be Columbo to figure this one out. It was somebody on Michaela's side. Whether or not you think that's all right, that's up to you.
In men's middleweight news, Janibek returns to Kazakhstan for defense against Ngamissengue.
Janibek is set to have his first contest in his native Kazakhstan since 2017, when he defends his WBO and IBF middleweight titles against Congo-born Frenchman Ngamissengue in Astana on April 5th. In the process, the 31-year-old Kanalai will become the first Kazakh world champion to defend on home soil since Gennady Golovkin trounced Nilson Julio Tapia in 2010, and the first in history to defend more than one championship. Kazakh style is finally coming home. Kanalai, 16-0 with 11 KOs, said, "April 5th will be a memorable night as I defend my WBO and IBF world titles against the top opponent. Many fighters turned down this opportunity, so I credit NUL for accepting the challenge. My goal is to become the undisputed champion, and NUL is in my way. The fans in Kazakhstan and everyone watching worldwide will see something special. Though the unbeaten Ngamissengue is well regarded, this marks a significant step up in class for the 29-year-old, and it will be his first encounter over the 12-round championship distance. Thank you for this long-awaited opportunity. After almost a year of fighting for a chance, this is the most important moment of my career," Ngamissengue, 14-0 with 9 KOs, said. "I know I'm going into the lion's den, but I thrive in situations like this. I respect Janibek and everything he's achieved, but I'm coming to Kazakhstan to crash the party and show the world that I belong at the top. The event will be staged by Nomad Promotions, led by Scott Murray, who have ambitions to elevate the profile of boxing in Kazakhstan, a nation with a growing reputation for harvesting fighting talent."
You see, that's what I figured, and that's what I told you in my previous video, that a fight going down in Kazakhstan, I don't get the sense that it's Top Rank throwing that party for Janibek. I get the sense that someone else is financing it, and they're willing to outsource him because he's not that big a draw in America anyway. Let somebody else pay for the show, let somebody else pay for him, and all they have to do is take their cut without staking any of their own money, and they still get the content. They still get to show the fight here in America on ESPN without having to spend any money.
That's smart business, and that's why they've been around as long as they've been around.
Pretty much.
Organizing this historic night has been a labor of love for our team, Murray said. "We are committed to developing the sport of boxing in Kazakhstan, and there's no better way to do that than by hosting a world title fight featuring our very own Janibek Kanalai. This is just the beginning of our journey, and we are honored to be part of this milestone. It is going to be a great historic moment for both the sport and the country, and the first of many events we bring to Kazakhstan." Top Rank's Bob Arum added,
Janibek is a supreme talent and the very best middleweight in the world. He has tremendous support in Kazakhstan, and we are pleased that he'll have the opportunity to defend his world titles in front of his adoring home fans. Annual is a tough opponent.
This is a way for Top Rank to save money and reallocate those resources to someone more fan-friendly or some fighter that's more marketable, say Keyshawn Davis, and his upcoming fight with Dennis Berenchuk
Crawford.
It's not dissimilar from what we're seeing with Bakadir Jalalov, who set the return to action on an Eye of the Tiger management show. Eye of the Tiger, who has an arrangement with Top Rank to show their fights here in America, to where Top Rank gets the content to show on ESPN, but they don't have to put up the money. Eye of the Tiger is doing that.
Not dissimilar from what you see in Junto Nakatani when they show his fights, or Naoya Inoue. Top Rank ain't the ones paying them.
Not when they're fighting in Japan, but they still provide that content to their broadcast partner at no expense.
It's smart business.
Though I can't help but notice that once again, Top Rank is outsourcing Janibek Alamkanalai. His last fight took place in, what was it, Australia? They lost the purse bid to No Limit Promotions by $1,000. Just $1,000. A nominal margin. So nominal, it's almost suspicious. It's like you guys wanted to lose that purse bid so you wouldn't have to be on the hook for the fight.
Why use your own money to pay Janibek when No Limit can pay him?
Look at what the size of the pot would have been had Top Rank won the purse bid. It's clear they're not spending the money on Janibek that they were spending on Terence Crawford, who had a contract minimum of $3 million plus. It was the same with Shakur Stevenson, and even Teofimo gets guaranteed more than Janibek, who's here today, a unified champion.
He's still saying he wants to become undisputed, but it's clear to me now, Top Rank don't place no emphasis, no value on him unifying those titles, because if they did, his next fight would be in America against a champion. They're not going to bust their budget. They're not going to break the bank to get a Lara in the ring.
Unification matches can be expensive to put on when you're dealing with not one, but two champions. What amount of money would it take to get Lara in the ring with this guy? And what would you have to pay Janibek?
More than Top Rank is willing, that's for sure.
It's looking more and more like if Janibek is going to unify this division, it'll be on somebody else's dime. Maybe Turkey El Al Sheikhs, after Janibek is done with this homecoming fight.
Another fight abroad, in a manner of speaking, because he's based out of America.
But his last fight was in Australia, and his next fight is in Kazakhstan.
Don't let that go over your head, because this is a homecoming fight.
Still means the same thing. They're outsourcing him until such a time as Turkey Al Al Sheikh might find use for him on one of his Riyadh season shows. Let him pay Lara, or whatever other champion is out there, whatever they want, to fight Janibek, because it's going to cost a pretty penny, and Top Rank don't seem to want to put it up.
He's been screaming for undisputed for how many years now? 2? 3?
We'll talk more about the fight as the fight date approaches.
Is there a good chance that he does box again, or do you think that could be it?
No, he's not ready to retire.
Okay.
No, not yet.
Yeah. There's always been talk of the move down to cruiserweight. Do you think that's a realistic proposition if you do look at it?
It's one of the options.
Yeah.
He is the decision maker, and one of the options is to come back to cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Is it smart? Is it reasonable? I don't know.
Yeah.
Difficult to say. But Usyk never did reasonable things.
Yeah.
And since the beginning of his career, no one trusted he could become something decent.
Yeah.
I've been promoting him since his first fight. And after fight number 4, I heard people saying, Usyk is nothing special.
Yeah.
The guy who was rated, let's say, top 10 by that time in some of the sanctioning bodies could easily defeat him. But now we see that the guy has become the undisputed cruiserweight and undisputed heavyweight champion.
If it were up to me, he'd retire right now, sail off into the sunset with his champion status and his unbeaten record intact. If it were up to me, he'd have the happy ending that so many boxers don't have, because oftentimes in boxing, the sport retires you before you retire from it.
So if it were up to me, he'd pack it up right now. But it's not up to me. It's up to Usyk. And according to Alexander Krasiuk, he's not ready to retire. Moving back down to cruiser is a possibility.
I don't think there's any unfinished business left in the heavyweight division, me personally. He's already fought Anthony Joshua 2 times, Tyson Fury 2 times. There is talk of a second Daniel Dubois fight to make him a 2-time undisputed champion, but that's really just another rerun. Let's get some new blood in here. The thought of a potential Usyk versus Opetaya fight is to my fancy more than a rerun with Daniel.
If I had it my way, Usyk moves down, goes on another undisputed run there, fights Opataya. Daniel Dubois fights the winner of Bakoli versus Jogba.
If I had it my way, moving back down to cruiser and going on another undisputed run is a more monumental achievement, I'd say, than beating Daniel again. You already beat him before.
If you beat him again, yeah, that makes you a two-time undisputed champion, but only doing so by fighting the same guy you already beat. Whereas at Cruiser, there's a new crop of champions that have sprouted, and I like Usyk's chances to beat them in a timely fashion. That's saying that he's 37, going on 38 years old. He has to make up his mind because time is of the essence. If he's gonna do it, he's gotta move on it now.
Make up his mind now because he doesn't have that many good years left. And how many times have we seen very good boxers, excellent boxers, overstay their welcome in the sport because they all felt they had one more big one left in them. One more, two more, three more big fights left in them.
It's a regular occurrence.
Usyk is only human. I think he still has enough left that he can make the weight and make the weight healthy because he only weighs in at about 221, just a little over 220 as a heavyweight. And according to him, he has to eat his way there. He has to eat quite a bit to get there, and he doesn't even like it.
To make the weight and then maintain it. So I think for a guy 6'3", Usyk's build, getting back down to 200 won't take much out of him.
It won't be like when Roy ventured to heavyweight and then dropped back down to light heavyweight. It's not as steep a drop.
I think he can do it, and if you put him in the ring with any of the belt holders at cruiserweight right now, inside of a year's time, I think he can beat them. I think he can beat them all.
He can beat Badu Jack. He can beat Zerto Ramirez. The stiffest test would have to be Jai Opataya, but I'm convinced that if you do it quick, he can beat him too. A second undisputed run at cruiserweight is more interesting to me than just running it back with Daniel for the same belt you gave him.
After you knocked him out.
We don't have an ETA on Usyk's ring return. He's spending time with his family, and I don't blame him. We'll likely start to get those answers later on this month after Daniel Dubois fights Joseph Parker and the winner of that fight emerges. I expect we'll get more in terms of an ETA after that.
But I reiterate, my first choice for Usyk is retire. There's nothing left to prove.
There's really not that much else to do.
You didn't make enough money in Saudi Arabia? You need to make more?